Welcome to the Art of Money podcast with Art McPherson.
And thanks for checking out the Art of Money podcast. My name is Mark Owens alongside Art McPherson and Luke McCarty. All the information for the McPherson Financial Group, you can find it at theartofmoneyradio.com. Good to see that we're kicking off 2022 on a good note. You know, a lot of investors want some clarity into the market. Tracy McMillian with Wells Fargo tells CNBC that she believes stock growth will moderate based on what's to come.
You know, we are going to see the Fed come in here and they're going to start the year by tapering, and then they're going to finish it out with likely, we think, 2 rate increases this year. So a little bit less than what the market's expecting, because we think the second half gets a little trickier with the Fed active and also with midterms in the second half.
McMillian, is that a real name? That sounds like a fake name because I'm talking about finances. But as she puts it, Art McPherson, Luke McCarty, is it better to make adjustments multiple times a year, or can you really design a strategy that deals with all of this?
So you're going to want to be nimble, right? This year, we're already seeing a lot of volatility in the market. You know, we're seeing a shift away from the high growth names into more your value, your energy companies. So you need to be able to be nimble and make those transitions within your portfolio. But you also don't want to make too many transitions either. So, you really need a professional on your side to kind of help navigate, kind of what's going on. She said that, 2 rate hikes this year. Jamie Dimon, I think he's the head of JP Morgan, right? He's thinking 4 rate hikes. But historically, if we look at where the unemployment is, right, under 4%, and where we are from an inflationary perspective, we compare to 1970. In 1970, the Fed funds rate was over 9%. So the Fed is behind the ball. So there's going to be some rate increases. That's one of our concerns for our 2022 outlook is, does the Fed raise too fast, too much, or not enough? So it's going to be very tricky this year for the Fed. I don't want to be in their shoes. It seems like everything they do, no matter what it is wrong. So they need to be very careful on what they could do to rattle these markets.
Yeah, because we've been through the pandemic, and it still is here. We're not done with it yet. We've got all these supply chain interruptions. And then we have, a kickoff with inflation. So you've got 3 big components there that have been headwinds against the economy. But the economy has kind of managed through it. We're still seeing record home sales. We're still seeing green across the board on things that Luke and I look at kind of as leading indicators for the economy. It's still very strong. However, you can put the brakes on a decent economy by raising rates. So the Fed has to be careful as they do that. And if you look in the last 20 years or so, they typically will get aggressive with raising rates. The economy starts to slow down, and they usually have too much of a raise, and they usually do it too quickly. So hopefully they kind of ease into this and they let it transition and don't get too aggressive, because what you'll do is you'll put the brakes on the economy, everything will come to a kind of a halt, and then they'll have to lower rates again to kind of get it active and get it starting again. So you want to do it in a, like Luke was saying, it's hard to know what to do right now from a standpoint at the Fed, but they definitely have to move, but they need to do it in a way that doesn't put the brakes on the economy.
Yeah. 772-281-5223 if you have a question about how the Fed is going to affect your retirement plans. Luke, as Art was mentioning the pandemic that continues, are you still hearing from the community? Are people still concerned about it? What's it going to do to my financial future? Or at this point, we're so deep entranced to this endemic, it's just a part of the process?
People are still very concerned. I had some meetings with clients this last week where they've been on flights recently, and they weren't flights of, holiday travel. They were just kind of business travel flights, and they weren't very full. So a little different from my flight over, Christmas time where it was full. So we're still seeing, people travel less. Businesses are changing the way they're doing things. People are still worried, right? If you watch the news, which I kind of stopped, right? ever since Trump was getting impeached, I couldn't watch the news. So I read the news, but I don't really watch it. But if you watch the news, they're still counting cases every day and just continually battering it in our minds and brains that its cases are going up. What it sounds like from the statistics is that, the new Omicron isn't as deadly.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then maybe we are towards the end of it. But there's still a lot of concern out there. The markets were kind of rattled either by the Fed. There's a lot of things going on with the markets. So it's definitely a concern for our clients.
Yeah, the one thing that's been good for the market is the economy itself. You know, we're seeing really low unemployment. We're seeing record profits. I mean, we are seeing numbers we have never seen before with some of the corporate profits. So all your big corporations are killing it because they're not spending like they had to a couple years ago with all the travel and all the different things. That is really reined in. And they've been very successful with having people work from home. So where they thought productivity would drop dramatically by people going home and staying at home and working, they are finding that people are very productive from home and doing a very good job. And it's changing the landscape. So some of those things are turning into record profits. And when you have record profits, usually that means the market's going to go higher. The only thing that could keep that from happening is the Fed raising too fast and those kind of things that we've already had in our discussion.
Speaking to record profits, Apple is the first company to ever hit $3 trillion of market cap. So I mentioned that because it's a milestone, but if you remember what Biden was talking about doing, hiring more IRS agents than Apple, right? More IRS agents than the largest company in the world. So
well, no wonder we're having a strong job growth right now. They're all working for the IRS.
Right. I know that's the goal. But yeah, so Apple's the first company to $3 trillion. So when you look at profits, their profits are, I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, just all the different avenues they're going into with maybe, the cars, the Apple car, everybody has an iPhone. Somehow now you get your iPhones again for free. I thought they stopped that, but AT&T's going to give my wife a new iPhone. I mean,
Did you see that
record profits?
Apple has released that cloth? I mean, it's just a cloth that cleans off your phone, but it's $25 and it's completely sold out for a cloth, but it just has a little Apple logo.
Shh, it's because it's an Apple cloth.
Don't tell my wife.
Don't listen, Stacy. Don't listen.
There will be one in the mail and I will be a statistic.
Luke, you mentioned that you're not really watching the news. It is going to be interesting as we talk about the pandemic, how the narrative is going to start changing a little bit because it's 2022 and we have midterm elections coming up. So for the past 2 years where people have been hammering a certain narrative down your throat, what are they going to say now if they're up for re-election?
I don't want to know. I do. I will be involved. I will be informed, but I'm not going to be glued to the TV.
Burned out.
Why do you think politicians are going to lie to you, Luke?
I think it's coming true every time 2 weeks or 3 months down the road it ends up being a lie.
Yeah.
Everyone. Across the board.
You mentioned the job growth and the economy pretty strong. There was a story that came out, and according to the St. Louis Fed, more than 3 million Americans have retired early due to the pandemic and increases in their retirement accounts. Economist Lawrence Catt called it once in a generation, take this job and shove it moment. So what do you say to somebody who's in that frame of mind right now that's like, you know what, I'm done?
Well, some of our clients are coming in and they are doing that. They are done with the complications of the pandemic, having to wear masks at work every day. They're just not wanting to do that. And sometimes people, some of our clients that are hitting that retirement age, they've got some health issues that wearing a mask is not very doable. But a corporation, if they don't approve you not wearing that mask, then you have to wear it, so sometimes it's just not effective. So we have some people that are going out for medical reasons and health reasons, and also the pandemic, the reasons are there. We've had our industry here in Brevard County and also Indian River County. We have a pretty big space race going on again here, and some of our engineers are very highly coveted. I have a couple that have retired, but then they are still working part-time. So that way they're able to put in maybe 20, 30 hours a week instead of 40, 50, 60, so they're able to have less time, still get some revenue, but also kind of enjoy that process and that transition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have, just to tag on to what Art was saying, we have, quite a few clients that are retiring this year, but the ones that are, the main concerns, right? If you retire before age 65, what are you going to do for healthcare? That's an expense a lot of people don't take into account. Taxes, right? So my dad, for instance, is retiring this year, and he has a pension, and he has a 401k, which is going to be an IRA, but, he's, asking how much money he can take out of it and what he should do. And I said, well, you need to pay taxes on it too, Dad. And you need to pay the state of Kansas taxes because you still live in that cold, frozen tundra up there. And he's like, gosh, so if I add your mom, so if he adds his spouse to his pension goes down. If he takes money out of his IRA, he has to pay taxes on it. And so these things add up. And even, just to, as close as you can get of an experience for me, right, as my father, right, he didn't necessarily take that into account either. So be careful when you think of your pension, your 401k, right? Your healthcare expenses, they all add up, and Uncle Sam is getting his piece.
Do we have any hope that Dad may move to Florida?
There is hope. I think it's a few years down the road, though.
Does he want to?
But there's hope. When we were there freezing and could only stay outside for 2.5 minutes and I had cabin fever, I was, taking a hammer and nail and hitting him in the head like, Dad, what are you still doing here? But
let me help you.
I know.
Let me help you.
Let me help you, Dad.
Down here.
And he's coming. So he's coming down for the Daytona 500 this year.
Nice.
Oh, we got him coming.
And so when we're grilling on my back patio, hopefully the pool water's clear.
Clear enough.
That should be the final. That should seal the deal.
Seeing his grandsons in the pool, everybody's smiling. And the weather is
It's February
gorgeous.
and it's nice outside.
Yes.
He's going to have to explain his suntan when he goes back to Kansas.
That's right.
And when he hits the 30-degree weather going home, and he leaves the 60, 70, 80-degree weather when he was here.
Right. And I could save him 6% on his income by avoiding Kansas state taxes. I mean, it's a win-win.
Perfect.
Dad,
storm.
that's income. That's cash flow.
Thanks for listening. Want more from Art McPherson of McPherson Financial Group? Find us online at artofmoneyradio.com. We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Securities offered through World Equity Group, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Investment advisory services offered through ProStatus Group, LLC. McPherson Financial Group and ProStatus Group, LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by World Equity Group, Inc. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Investment financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. Art McPherson is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Arthur McPherson. Florida Insurance License number A174725.
Today's show has been a work of art.